Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk and thank you very much for joining me. This is what I'm going to be making today. It's an impossible box. This impossible box is, it's quite a big one. It's 4 inches on the side and it will hold quite a bit of stuff. Now these have been around for quite some time, but today I wanted to challenge myself and make one that is bigger than you could normally make from one piece of card. Stay with me, I'll show you what I did. This is a big box, so I'm going to use 2 full pieces of Merry Merlot plus some scraps. And I'm going to begin by scoring my card, both pieces the same. So I'm going to start on the short edge and I'm going to score it at 4 inches and at 8 inches. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score it at, where's my notes? There they are. At 1 1/4 inches. Let's do that bit again. In fact, let's do it again. Next I'm going to turn my card around and I'm going to score it at 1 1/4 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 5 1/4 inches and 9 1/4 inches. And I'm going to cut away the pieces that I don't want, which is everything except this little skinny piece here. And start again. Next I'm going to cut away all of the bits I don't want, so it's all of this skinny edge here except for that that piece there. Trimming this way and trim away all of these pieces, thus, and do some burnishing. Oops. So now I'm going to fold So now I'm going to fold my card on the second line from the top, so the one that I made at 3 1/4 inches, and with my ruler, which is wandered off, there it is, and let's do that bit again. I've burnished all the folds of the card and now I'm going to fold that over on that second score line, which is the one that I made at 3 1/4 inches, and I'm going to make a mark on that fold line that is 2 inches from that cut edge and should also be 2 inches from that fold line. And then on this side, same thing again, 2 inches from the cut edge, 2 inches from the fold line. So basically I'm making a little mark halfway through. Now I'm just doing it with my embossing tool, but if you prefer to do it with a pencil, you go right ahead, because we're going to be cutting this bit off in a minute anyway. So this is just a guideline to tell us where to cut And now with my scissors, I'm going to use my nice big ones. I'm going to cut right the way along that line. Now, if you prefer to use a craft knife, you go right ahead. Scissors are what I've got handy, so scissors are what I'm using. And I wind up with a piece of card that is this shape. I've got to make one more cut, which is up along what's going to be the bottom of the box here, just to reduce the bulk a little bit. So not taking much away, just a skinny little triangle. And now I'm going to go and do exactly the same to my other piece of Merry Merlot, and then we can put it together. So here are my two pieces, and I'm now going to stick them together. Now I'm going to use liquid adhesive. You could certainly use forgotten to cut the flap open on this one, so I will do that before I go any further. All I'm going to do is cut a skinny triangle up out of the middle here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So yeah, ideally I should have done that before I started trying to stick anything together. So with the liquid adhesive, you do have a couple of seconds for things to go off. So and I am using liquid adhesive because that's what I have handy, but by all means feel free to use tape, although I would say it a lot depends on what you're going to be putting into this box, because if you're using if you're putting something that's going to be quite heavy in there, then you probably want to use liquid adhesive. Okay, so that's the basic construction of the box. I need to leave it a couple of seconds for the adhesive to set. So while that's happening, let me do some decorating. To decorate my box, I'm using this designer series paper, and I want 4 squares for the body of the box and 4 skinny rectangles for the top, and I've cut 3. I've left it to show you how I do it, because cutting that little piece there, which I think is something like 3/4 of an inch, that's an inch, can be a little bit tricky if you're just trying to cut just 1 inch. So I have my DSP, which I've already cut to 3 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4 of an inch, and now I'm just going to cut that down so that I have 2 pieces, one of which is 3/4 of an inch on a side and one is 1 inch. So how's my box coming along here? Yep, that's working quite well. So I'm going to start with my 4 panels. Again, I'm using liquid adhesive. You use whatever you think is going to work well for you. Now I'm going to finish the box and put it all together. So I'm going to fold in my 2 bottom flaps. I have a flap here that I've already put my tear and tape on. Come on, doesn't want to come off. Backing doesn't. It's kind of warm here today, and I think this is the best summer that or spring actually, that we've had for many a year, and we can't go out. Isn't that wonderful? Now I know I've got open edges here and here, don't worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that edge over. That one's already flipped itself, and I've got 2 little construction strips here. So that is just a piece of Merry Merlot, that is 1 inch. Sorry, 1¼ yeah, 1 inch by 1¼ inches. I'm just going to stick it down to the one side for now, and same thing on the opposite side. And again, a little bit of liquid adhesive wouldn't go amiss here, and I'm not lining it up completely with the fold, I'm just bringing it back a little bit. Can you see that? There's just a little tiny bit of card there. Right, so now when I bring the lid down, I can take the backing of my other edge and I can just stick that together, and it will give me just enough room so that I can open and close the box relatively easily. And now all I have to do is to glue these panels into place. I've been busy off camera, and I've made this embellishment to go onto the front of my box, and I made it using early espresso card, and I used the Stitched So Sweetly dies. I used that one and that one. I used the layering ovals for my large oval at the back. I used a stamp from Beautiful World, that one, You Make the World a Better Place, and I used the Old World paper embossing folder on the oval, and I also took some gold ink, a gold stamp pad. It was the Delicata or Delicata, the one that retired, that was in last year's Christmas catalogue, and I just put it in my finger in a sponge dauber and just lightly daubed around the edges just to give it a little bit more contrast. That is heat embossed in gold embossing powder, and I just added these two little trinkets from the retired set, which went with the Bird Ballad suite, but you could use, you know, whatever you had. I just liked those. I thought they gave it a nice effect. And last but by no means least, I took some of the suede effect ribbon, and what I did was I made a loop out of a short length of it and stuck it down on the back. I used my liquid adhesive, and then I cut two little tails, so it looks as though the ribbon goes all the way around the back, but in fact it doesn't. So let me move my my magnet board out of the way. So now I'm ready to apply this to the front of my box. So first of all, I want to decide where the front of my box is, and it's kind of hopping up and down a little bit there, and I'm going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to put a couple right here at the very top, and I want to put one here at the bottom, but I don't want that to stick to anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the backing off that one, and I'm just going to put a little circle of card. In this case it's the Merry Merlot card. It could be anything because it's not going to be seen. And now I'm going to add this to the front of my box. And the nice thing about having this this sort of grid paper is that it does help you center things quite nicely. Okay, so now when I open the box, the label comes with it. As it is, the box will be fine for holding light items, but it's quite a big substantial box, so there is a chance you're going to want to put something inside that's quite heavy. So if you want to do that, you need to reinforce the box's bottom, and all you need for that is a square of card that is slightly smaller than your finished box. So you can cut this to 3 3/4, 3 7/8, something like that, and then you can just pop that inside. Now it'll be absolutely fine if you leave it loose, but you could also add a little bit of sticky adhesive of your choice to hold it down. And I'm going to call that done. There it is. That is the finished Impossible box. It's a good size and would hold quite a lot of goodies, I think, but of course you don't have to make them this big. You can make them whatever size you like. And if I just bring in this little one, this one is sized to fit a Yankee candle. It's been made with retired supplies, so that's why I haven't demonstrated this one. I will put the measurements for this one and the cutting diagrams, so I will put those. Now I haven't been blogging a great deal lately, so what I will do is I will put a link onto my Facebook page. Okay, so if you hop along there, while you're there, if you'd give it a like, I'd be very, very pleased. But that is it for today. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Would love it if you came back and saw me again sometime soon. I'm hoping to be uploading a bit more regularly than I have been in the past, but you know, stuff happens. But for now, thank you very much for joining me. Hope that I'll see you again sometime soon. Bye bye.